You actually shouldn't have to care what your internet service provider thinks about.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Hi.
If you're born in India, you're probably a Hindu. If you're born in America, you're probably a Christian. If you're born in Pakistan, you're probably a Muslim. That's a coincidence, isn't it?
Man eats alone.
Culture, the non-genetic transmission of information within or across generations.
It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is
the social construction of reality refers to the process whereby people continuously create, through their actions and interactions, a shared reality that is experienced as objectively factual and subjectively meaningful.
I am Homo sapien sapien, the last survivor of the genus Homo on planet Earth. I live in two worlds. One is the real world. Everything I can see and touch and feel and smell is part of this world. It is earth, air, fire, water. It is birds, rivers, mountains, animals, human beings, human-made constructions, human-made pieces of tree, moon, sun, stars, and so on. Of course, all the words I use to describe the real world doesn't actually exist in the real world. They are from the other world I live. The artificial world that is my culture. It is ideology, political economy, fashion, norms, traditions, laws, nationality, national borders, ownership, religion, money, and so on. This world does not exist in the real world. It is made and made up by humans. And ultimately, it only exists inside my head.
You're free anyway. You're born free. Born absolutely free except for laws of nature. Where if you get old, you die, and if you drink, you get drunk, and if you sit on a tack, you bleed from the ass. Those are the only laws you're born with.
And the sum of the suggestions is the child's mind. And not the child's mind only. All his life long. The mind that judges and desires. Before I opened my eyes, I knew nothing. The world could be anything. Then I learned.
Sorry, the number you have dialed has been changed.
Good evening, brothers and sisters, friends and neighbors, vibrations in the mind of the one true God, whose name is love.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org.
We live in a strange time. Extraordinary events keep happening that undermine the stability of our world. Suicide bombs, waves of refugees, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, even Brexit.
This is intense material, I should warn you. Once you get on, just open off.
Yeah, Roger. I see your element. You got about 4 Humvees out along this.
You're clear. All right, firing.
Line here. When the stage line
let me know when you get it. We'll shoot. Light them all up.
202 traffic, 260.
Come on, fire.
Today, life, our life, is just a link in a chain of innumerable living beings that have succeeded one another on Earth over nearly 4 billion years.
We emerged from microbes and muck. Apes are our cousins. Our thoughts and feelings are not fully under our own control.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while.
My culture is everything my mind register. Everything my mind register. My mind register about my social reality. How I register and act upon that information is my human nature.
Man eats with woman.
And of course, I believed it. I didn't have much choice.
They have the cannon, but they could not. They have no cannonball. They could not shoot. Do you understand?
We tend to think of culture as something that exists outside of ourselves. We can have thoughts like, I wonder how I would have been if I grew up in an entirely different place or time, in an entirely different culture. As if that person is still you in a way. But the fact is that this person is not you in any meaningful way. Although this person share your DNA, his identity, his system of reality, sense of self, ways of thinking and reasoning is entirely bound up in his culture. Like you are.
Make me dance. But that doesn't mean that I can't also choose to dance. So maybe there's physics and free will working together.
But if you can't change the laws of physics and you can't alter the past, what is the present if not the result of those laws acting on the past? So what are you left with? Not free will. It's the reason Dr. Manhattan says, I was surprised because I had foreseen that I would be surprised in Watchmen.
Everything is preordained, even my responses.
And then somebody gave him a bunch of ideas. They gave him a name and a religion and a nationality, and he clustered those together into something that's supposed to be a personality.
Yeah, I'd like to order one large person with extra people, please.
White people. No. Black people and Hispanic on half.
Am I to understand that you have read this document, Inspector?
Yes, sir.
The contents of this document are a matter of national security, constituting an assault on the character of several important party members, as well as a blatant violation of the Articles of Allegiance. As the authenticity of this document cannot be verified, It could be an elaborate forgery created by the terrorist, as easily as it could be the deranged fantasy of a former party member who resigned for psychological reasons. Any discussion of this document or its contents will be regarded at the very least as an act of sedition, if not a willful act of treason. Is that understood, Mr. Finch?
Yes, sir.
You would do well, Inspector, to put it out of your mind.
Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us. And in full disclosure, let's take a look at what is in there and what isn't.
So you look at each person, immediately it is brighter, dumber, older, younger, richer, poorer, and we make all these dimensional distinctions, put them in categories and treat them that way. And we get so that we only see others as separate from ourselves in the ways in which they're separate. And one of the dramatic characteristics of experience is being with another person and suddenly seeing the ways in which they are like you, not different from you.
Now society, man. Society, you know?
The understanding that there is no other. It is all one. And I wasn't born Richard Albert, I was just born as a human being. And then I learned this whole business of who I am and whether I'm good or bad or achieving or not. All that's learned along the way.
You know, we have to step back from before even starting this to recognize that most of what we do, most of what we see as normal, is actually shaped by our cultural norms.
What does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean to be a member of society? What is society? What is normal? What are the normal activities of a normal day? How is a lifetime lived? I learned the answer to these questions not as an adult, but as a child. I learned it in the same way I learned the sky was blue and the grass was green. I needed only open my eyes, and there it was. Normal. 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 Normal.
That is, it depends on assumptions which we hold so deeply as to be scarcely aware of them.
Why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
The world runs on individuals pursuing their separate interests. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Jesus, that's nice. Doesn't that make you feel better? I just have to take care of number one, and it'll be the best for everybody. This is very comforting.
The nature of philosophy is an attempt to free oneself from the various interpretations and assumptions that are ordinarily imposed upon us. It's a matter, in a sense, of clearing our own minds of debris and coming to the ultimate point at which we understand, through our own understanding, of what the world is, and what the world ought to be.
Trust me, everything's gonna be fine.
If I, me, who I think I am, is a cultural happening, who are all the other me's that could have been? What magical worlds are they from? How do they feel about themselves and the societies they live? Can we reason with each other on a different level, knowing we are all the same?
You create yourself at the beginning of your life to fit in and to be accepted and to be admired, and then at some point, maybe, if you're lucky, things start splitting at the seams now. The whole thing's tumbling down, and you're free.
Till at last, the child's mind is these suggestions, and the sum of the suggestions is the child's mind. And not the child's mind only, the adult's mind too, all his life long. The mind that judges and desires and decides, made up of these suggestions.